Like it.
Well, welcome to the Lockdown Economy, a social nonprofit initiative by the think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and entrepreneurs overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. That was my dog. Today, we're here with John Durning. We're in Libertyville, Illinois, with John Durning. John is the owner and operator of Pizzeria Deville. And John, thanks a lot for joining us today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Michael.
So Pizzeria Deville is a restaurant in Liberty, Illinois. And I guess first question I want you to do, just give me a quick sketch of what your restaurant's like, what the atmosphere is like, what the food's like, how you got it started, how long you've been in business, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, we'll make it a quick sketch. Here we go. So flashback about 8 years. I am working in commercial banking, primarily focused on commercial real estate. I had cooked for many years. As a youth, I had at restaurants and so forth. I had been making pizza in my home for decades at that point, which started very humbly in sixth grade with the English muffin and a piece of American cheese and a little tomato paste, like we all made in home ec. Anyway, that morphed into this desire to get out of commercial banking and do something different. So in 2014, I opened Pizzeria Deville. It's a wood-fired pizzeria. Some of our goals that we've been able to to achieve were that we wanted a community restaurant. We wanted it to be a really great example of how to do things for our three children, who are all now young adults. And we knew we wanted it to be a pizza style that didn't exist in our town of Libertyville. And so the style of pizza we do is actually called Neapolitan, because it's a Neapolitan recipe and ingredient list, but we throw some pretty funky toppings on it that most pizza makers from Naples would hit me over the head for doing. And so that's where we come up. Since that time, we have really ensconced ourselves into the community, and not just because they like our pizza and would come to the restaurant, but because we do a lot of things for the community. And we don't really do them. Well, really what guides us is does it make me feel good? And do my kids agree with that? And my wife agree with that? And we sort of know each other well. And so Susie and I will talk about it and we'll do it. And then, the community sort of says, well, that was a good idea. Good work. So anyway, that's how we've sort of grown our business.
Great. Well, let's go to now. How have you and your team navigated the challenges that the restrictions of the lockdown have presented you? How have you gotten through this? What ideas have you done?
Well, it really happened at an interesting time here in the States, because when we first got locked down, it was just before St. Patrick's Day, which is a huge celebration in the United States. Give them a reason to party and they're going to do it. And so going into that weekend, we all knew about the coronavirus and were listening on the news, but it was foreign to us. I mean, to the point where when it first took hold, I went to Costco to get some supplies for the restaurant. And I walked in and I noted that all the paper towels and all the toilet paper was gone. And in typical American fashion, everyone was freaking out over this. And I saw I saw some lady yelling at the Costco person about the toilet paper. And so I know it wasn't funny, but I found it hilarious. So I finished my shopping. I got back to the restaurant and I noted we have individually wrapped rolls of toilet paper. And so they're nice and sanitary and they've got a wrapping around them. And we had 2 cases. I had like 100+ rolls of this stuff lying around because someone had over ordered. So I said, forget it. We're going to take our Pizza Deville stickers and we're going to start putting those on the toilet paper. And every person that comes to the restaurant gets a roll of toilet paper. And it took off like crazy. We hadn't seen anyone do it. And it was just because we were responding to this goofiness. Literally the first night we did it, I remember some lady talking about the coronavirus. She's at the bar having drinks. And I said, listen, we're going to test out this virus right now. And I licked her on the face. And, and so she and I, who are friends, we look back on that and be like, do you know how crazy that was? And like, literally, like the courts would cut off your tongue today for doing that.
Yeah.
So it went from being a sort of, well, it doesn't impact us situation to it really did. They closed everything on March 17th or 16th. I had friends who were in the process of opening a brand new restaurant. So I got to sort of see it from a lot of different views, restaurant and store wise. We immediately were able to just go into a takeout and delivery mode. We had already started delivering our own food versus using like Uber Eats and Grubhub, some of the third party vendors here, because those third party vendors, they are leeches and will bring your business down. They charge up to 30%. And that's since changed because of some legislation. But to me, that was, I'm not in business. There's not that much margin to lose money so that you guys can make money. Yeah. So anyway, we started doing takeout and delivery. Initially, it was extraordinarily popular because everyone wanted to make sure their favorite restaurants survived. So we actually, the first 2 weeks, we did better than we normally do that time of year. However, I sort of looked at the staff. I said, by the way, people can't go out to dinner every single night of the week forever. And they also can't tip like they're giving their money away and it's growing in the backyard like this forever. And we saw that occur. And so since that time, business, we're down solidly for this time of year, 50%. There are different times of year that we were down more and or less. But the challenge for us is we have a private party room. There are no private parties since March, whenever I just mentioned. We have a pizza trailer, serves as a pizza truck for all kinds of big public events and private parties. We did 3 parties last year, all under 20 people. And socially distanced and did it correctly and kept my staff away and all of that. But like, the point is there was no money in that either. The takeout and delivery has come way back. In certain areas around us, and obviously other states, they have had people that they've allowed reopenings and or they've allowed you to get up to about 25%. We tried the 25% capacity, and frankly, it didn't make my staff comfortable and it didn't make me comfortable, and we didn't have that many guests coming in. So since that time, when we were forced to reclose, we just said, and now everyone can reopen to 25 and maybe even 50. We've just said, we're going to wait till it's warmer, till more people have the vaccinations, till we really feel like we've got this thing a little bit better under control. Because the worst thing that can happen to me is if some of my staff get ill with it, can't come to work, can't make a living, and or potentially much worse than that. And so we've sort of all consulted throughout, and the fact that they weren't comfortable, they're much more important to me than really anything. So without them, I can't run the restaurant. You know, you got to pay attention to the customers. I feel like when I pay attention to my staff, they take care of the customers.
Right.
So we've been very careful, remain closed, but our business obviously is way down. And we've done some different creative stuff and toy drives at Christmas, and we still support all the charities that we used to, albeit in a much smaller way, because that's a function of our sales. But we still do charity pizzas every month. And right now we're dedicating those funds to different food pantries. We continue. In past 3 years now, we've had a homeless lady who lives in our restaurant. And not because we make ads about that. It's because she needed a place to stay and we got to know her a little bit. And it's worked out really well for both of us. It's a small contribution every day for something that the staff has to, again, rally around and act like a family about. And to me, that's been a terrific experience. Anyway, that's sort of what we've been doing, because it's hard to get in front of anybody right now.
Yeah. So I was doing a little bit of research before we got together today, and I was trying to read through some of your social media posts from over the months. And did I read this correctly that you were able to sort of repurpose your pizza truck to a local tavern in the city of Chicago, which is about an hour away from you?
Yep.
And then therefore help out that business as well as, your pizza truck was just sitting there in the parking lot anyway. Why not put it to use and get a little bit of revenue
Yeah, well, we did do that, and some close mutual friends who have this bar, and really they were not doing any business. Um, we were able to bring our pizza truck there. We parked it in their back patio. We supplied. They drive up every few days and buy a bunch of dough. We sold them dough balls for $1, which was 50% off what the closest competitor was willing to do, because we really wanted to see this work, and it did. They ended up making lots of pies and pitched it well to the point where they've since put in a little pizza oven and still come up and buy dough from us. Again, one of the two partners is a chef, and he said, "Listen, the fact that you're selling it to us for half price is a great gesture." He goes, "But if it were the same price, your dough's a lot better. I'd buy your dough anyway," which was a real honor for me, for him to say that. But yeah, I mean, anything like that you can do to help somebody else out. Obviously, we've been bringing pizzas to fire departments and police departments and the hospital, and sometimes those are sponsored by customers of ours. But sometimes I just feel like giving away some pizzas. It's still a fun thing to do. We have on that note, on February 9th here in the States, maybe everywhere, it's National Pizza Pie Day. And so there's a great organization that I would encourage anyone who watches this to support called Slice Out Hunger. And Slice Out Hunger, this guy named Scott Weiner in New York, who they basically do pizza charity. And he has a New York pizza tour as well, is his business. But what we're doing is we're going to bring next week, during the week of National Pizza Pie Day, we're going to be bringing pizza slices individually wrapped to different homeless shelters. So that, and they they coordinate this all over the country, so that people who are homeless and or otherwise marginalized get to have some pies on National Pizza Pie Day. So things like that, bring it on. We love that. We always have room in our budget for that.
Right. And so in the coming months, we're all looking for, is there a finish line in the next little while, and what are your plans and strategies as you look ahead and prepare to the point where we can get back to a little bit more of a new normal?
Yeah, I don't think you go through the storm we just had, or are having rather, and then it just smooths out. I think it's going to be choppy. I talked to a lot of doctors and friends who know a lot more about this than I do, and I think it's going to be a while, especially in the United States, where people are so god darn stubborn about just doing what they need to do to make it better. That to me is the most frustrating thing is people who just put on masks and behave the way they're supposed to. We could make life so much better, but that's a whole nother day. But what I'll tell you is for us, we're going to wait. We're going to wait, and we're going to, this PPP money that the government has handed out to businesses, there's a second round that just came through. Let me tell you, in terms of whatever your opinion of that is, it has saved Main Street America. It has. I know dozens and dozens of businesses who have taken that money and done the right thing with it and have sustained themselves. And without it, I'd be out of business. And I know a lot of other people that would be out of business right now. So the fact that that's been there, but now it's up to us to responsibly get back to business and try and make this all work. And so for us, we're going to wait till vaccines are more prevalent and people are feeling a little more confident. We'll continue to wear masks in the restaurant. And we've said that maybe in April, we'll reopen at a reduced capacity and test that out. But that all depends on how we feel in April. Our food truck, we've got people, signing us up for giant weddings and different things like that. And we're like, well, we'll do it, but we're going to be over here and no one's coming over there. We'll bring the food, we'll drop it off. We'll have the bartenders. You're going to have to come get your drinks from the table because you're not going to get my people sick. And I just feel like, so things like that, we're just getting ready, but we're getting ready kind of with all our pads on because we know it's not going to be easy.
Right. And so listen, if you could raise your hand and say, hey, out there, the world, I need help with 2 or 3 things, what would they be?
Support local businesses as much as you can. The big box guys, they're going to be around. IKEA is still going to be in business, I promise. If you can buy a great product from a little guy who makes something similar, go do that. Wear your masks, wash your hands. just do what you're supposed to do. It's not that hard. For generations, we've like figured this out. And for some reason, we're so entitled now that we can't get out of our own way to make it better. That would be my second thing. My third thing is just be nice to each other. Just be kind. That's it.
Yeah.
That would fix it all.
Yeah. 3 simple things.
3 simple things. And they are like super simple.
They are. Yeah. We hear about them too all the time. And it's still like hitting a wall at times. All right. Last question for you. What have you done, implemented, initiated with your business that you never would have done had this not happened? That you say, hey, I think I'm glad I got a chance. I'm glad I did this, and I wouldn't have done it had it not been for these.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm glad. It's more, I guess the thing I'm glad about is that whatever food, when we decide to open this restaurant, is that it's something that translates easily to a pandemic. I've joked with my partners. I said, the one thing no one asked me about when we went over this business plan was what happens if there's a worldwide pandemic.
How come they didn't ask that?
I wouldn't have opened the restaurant. But with that said, we have learned how to be a takeout and delivery restaurant. My space is beautiful and it's meant for people to be together. I'm the 9th out of 10 kids. That's how I want it. I want it full of people and noise and laughter and fun. And I want to be dealing with my customers. And we're not that at all. And it's been a year since it's been like that, or almost. And so for us, I would say we've learned through how to shrink our menu, how to be more efficient with hours, and keep your core people together and keep them employed while you're trying to get through something that you just don't really know when you're going to come out of the fog. So I'm not like happy about that. I'm not saying like a lot of places have done just that, but we didn't go out and we were doing some different foods. And at one point we just said, we've got to shrink this thing to everybody's favorite stuff. And that's all we're going to serve. And there's no harm in that at all. It's less fun for us to not have specials and different stuff, but it just doesn't communicate all that well. And what we find with our customers is they mostly know what they want.
Right. All right, John. So what did I miss? What did I forget to ask that you want to make sure that you share?
You're talking about wearing masks, right?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. Can we keep doing that and supporting all these great businesses around the world that are fighting to stay in business and get it done?
All right. Well, we've been talking, John, thank you, by the way. We've been talking with John Durning, Libertyville, Illinois, owner operator of Pizzeria Deville in Libertyville, Illinois. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I invite you to subscribe to our channel and share us with others in your network who will find it useful. We have a ton of insights and best practice stories from business owners and entrepreneurs all over the globe, big cities, small towns, all communities in between. I'm Mike Tierney. Goodbye for now. Stay tuned and stay healthy.